Can we hear you now or what?
I made it.
My man. We're in it.
You hear me?
What up, man?
What's up, man?
All right, guys. So this is another episode of 3CGRadio, the interviews. We're joined by NFL All-Pro, Houston Texans legendary linebacker Brian Cushing, the kid Edwin Najmi. He needs no introduction. And then my man up there, Ricky Rivas. He's part of the 3CG commentary team, and he's also competed for us a bunch. So he's should be a good episode, guys. How y'all been doing? I'll start with Cush. How things going down there, man?
Things are going good, man. Just one day at a time. Got a lot of homeschooling. So that's been interesting. Coming up with new activities, staying busy. Thank God I have a home gym. Best investment I've ever made. So I've just been able to kind of keep my mind and body busy in there. So it's been okay. You know, I'd like to obviously have some more social interaction, see some more people, be able to roll again would be nice. But, you know, for the most part, it's all good. Things could be a lot worse.
No, man, for sure. I agree. So you haven't had a Pedro over there to throw around in the home gym yet, or what?
We've thought about it. The flooring is a little too hard right now. So if we can somehow get some Fuji mats in there, we can make it happen.
Hey, I got a whole garage full. Just let me know. I got like 200 of them.
I might have to take you up on that.
But what's up with you? What's up with you, Edwin? How's it going, man?
Pretty much the same routine, I would say. I'm still teaching classes on Zoom. The only thing I'm missing is just like sparring, you know, just seeing like actual humans. I think a lot of people think like that, like the higher level guys are just like having underground like kumite training sessions and stuff. But I don't know. In our case, we're not. Homu's like super scared. Take that shit seriously, and he told me, Gabriel, like, "Yo, you guys better not train behind my back." I'm like, no, I got you. So yeah, pretty much the same. Brian pretty much nailed it. I mean, I think I don't know. I feel like I'm already getting used to it though. I feel like I've been in the quarantine for 6 months. It's only been 30 days, but it's kind of starting to feel like normal, I would say. I don't know, in a weird way, right? In a scary way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been kind of it's been hard to adjust because, you know, it's like we go from teaching, living, breathing jiu-jitsu, you know, for me and for you, Edwin, for Ricky, who work in it, and it's then all of a sudden it's like boom, gone. You know, and all the school owners have been like super innovative with the way y'all been able to take your curriculum off just from face to face and turn it into some compelling online content. So how difficult has that been, and who's really been leading the charge for that? For you guys up there in Northridge?
We've all been doing like our own classes separately, and like kind of like freestyling it. And I think I've pretty much figured out how to do the class. I think 90% of the jiu-jitsu world is probably doing it wrong right now. They're trying to teach like new material over like Zoom, and it's like you can't teach jiu-jitsu over Zoom. This is what like people were making fun of the Gracies for like years, like Henry and Hiram for teaching like real, you know, like actual jiu-jitsu. Like you can't really learn jiu-jitsu with dummy.
It's like when they were going to the blue belts and stuff, you know, online and all that stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So like I think the goal is not to teach new jiu-jitsu; it's just to keep like your students sharp in the condition. So I've been doing a lot of like Toriano drills with a dummy, with a chair, belt drills, like guard drills, sprawls, core work, mobility. So just more intense warm-ups, more intense, like pretty much like a jiu-jitsu related workout. And I think that's definitely the move because if you show me, I don't know, personally, if you show me 40 minutes of mount technique on a teddy bear, like I'm not going to understand that technique. So I'm more about like just the drills, just keeping sharp, keeping in shape, and we can learn some new jiu-jitsu when we're back. But
yeah. Well, your stuff has been like some of the better stuff I've seen. The stuff you're doing with the belt and kind of the spider guard drills, it gets kind of, I mean, it's kind of caught my eyes a lot more than some other people's solo drills. It seems more practical.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I don't know, I'm like a pretty straightforward guy. Like, I'm like not fake at all. I don't like BS at all. Like, I tell everyone how I feel, and like, I don't know, like some people are just like, I don't know. They're like, yeah, I can teach you this armbar, but they're just like, just to get students, to keep their students there. But I don't know, I just can't do that. So I just keep it real and hope everybody appreciates it.
Right on, man. So what's up with you, Ricky? How's it been going? You're holding it down up there at GB Texas, you know, teaching online, doing your thing. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. Kind of like what Edwin was saying, my favorite part of it is just wrestling drills, like sprawls, shot, you know, hand plant, you know, sprawl again, just movements, just stuff like that, you know, stuff that is like kind of like these little non-techniques, like you can use them or apply them in a bunch of different situations and just repping it out.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, sadly, I was one of the ones that was like, I'm going to keep paying my dues, but I'm going to just go put on about 30 or 40 pounds and then have something to really work on when I get back.
So. That's how I was the first 2 weeks. So I was a lazy bum the first 2 weeks, and after I'm like, all right, like Homo's fucking doing this Bulgarian workout 8 million times a day all week. I got to step my game up. So I'm in good shape now. But the first week or like first 10 days, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat Oreos all day and just play video games.
Like Cush sent me a workout plan, like what was like right around that stuff, and he texted me when he's like, "So what's up? You should be on day 3 right now," and I'm like, "Set my phone down." No, I hope to get back at it though, man. So I miss it more than ever now. Like just the distances from it, not being able to train, put my hands on people. It's definitely been an adjustment. I used to train every day almost, so it's like to go from that to this. Same for all you guys. So hopefully we'll get people bounce back quick, and we'll have some cool stuff going on. So I guess how is it kind of when we've had you. I'll start with Edwin with some questions I have that kind of put together. So we've had you lined up on multiple events with like great matches. Everyone seems to pull out. Why doesn't anyone want to fight you? Why don't they want to see you? Everybody wants to toxic game, but when it comes time, nobody wants to do it. What's going on?
Here we go.
I don't know. I don't want to like talk shit and say some of these guys are weird, but yeah, I don't know. It's been a little suspect. Maybe it's a mix of bad luck and misfortune, but I guess it happens. I think I don't know. All those guys, honestly, I never really expected those guys to pull out. The guys that pulled out. I think I had like 6 pullouts this year, like counting my fight to win pullouts and my other fights. So I don't know if they're scared or there's misfortune or what it is, but I'm always ready. Honestly, I never tell people about how I fight or like whatever injuries I've had, but I've fought with injuries like my whole life. Yeah. The only time I haven't fought with injury was with a torn ACL, and I tried to fight. I tried to train on a torn ACL for a month, and then fight Renato. And I couldn't, but like I fought Dante with a broken, like my sternum was fucked up. Like basically I couldn't move my whole upper body. Whatever, I got choked. I didn't say shit. So I just try to show up. It's jiu-jitsu. It's not a big deal, but we're entertainers. We're not really like athletes. We're entertainers, right? So
that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to put on entertainment. Like people get too wrapped up in the whole traditionalism.
Exactly. So I think if you just show up, people appreciate you for that, win or lose. Like honestly, even if you lose, people only remember your last fight. It's always like that. Like already, people probably can't even name the last ADCC champion. So you just gotta keep moving, keep fighting, stay active, and yeah, I think some of these guys are just scared to lose, maybe, and then they're not 100%. They got like a little sick, or they're coming off a loss, and they say, "Fuck, I don't want to take 2 L's back to back, or I'm not gonna be 100%. This kid's gonna talk shit if I lose." And then they don't. I think that's what goes to their mind. But
like I talked to Dorino, he still wants it. Gilbert Burns still wants it, and Tommy Langaker. We might. I told Tommy, I was like, we can do you and Edwin. We can do you and Gabe. It doesn't matter. I mean, whoever wants it. Either. I mean,
that's the thing. Like, I don't think those guys would like. Those guys are pretty like samurai. Like Dorino, samurai,
super tough.
So yeah, if they got hurt, I believe him. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, gotta take them all out. I gotta take out Tama too. He's talking some smack. So
which one do you want? We got word that they're gonna reopen the bars, the restaurants, and gyms and all that stuff possibly here in Houston May 1st. And if that's the case, June 13th still going down as planned. We're gonna do one. But
to be honest, I don't like. A lot of people told me this and they're like, "Yo, don't even give that kid attention or any clout." Tama. So I don't even think there's any point in me fighting Tama. I dominated him for 8 minutes. I ain't trying to talk shit, and then he talks smack after. So I had to change it up. If he wants to get that work again, he can get it. No problem. That's easy work. But I think I'd like to fight Dorino. That'd be cool. He's a legend. He was a black belt training at my school when I was a blue belt.
Yeah, and I think he wants that one too. I mean, every time that he's had to pull out, whether he's sick or was it, the UFC fight with Damian Maia this last time was the reason. So I mean, it's like the dude's not ducking you. I think that's a good one still, and I think it'll happen.
I think that's the best fight out of all 3. The other guys are cool and they're tough, but like Tommy's really good. He's probably the toughest one out of all 3. But like I think the Dorino fight is like the most. I don't know. I think that's the fight that most interests me personally and motivates me.
Right on, man. Well, I'm gonna hit Cush with one. So man, I was going back and look at some of your old footage because I love like your old like Hard Knocks days and all that stuff. You know, ripping your helmet off, headbutting motherfuckers without a helmet on. Like you were a madman on the field. So like, how much was like the Hard Knocks experience like played up, like the producers, or was that just more you guys just being the guys?
So the cameras are around 24/7. Like everything you do, I would say probably 90% of it is authentic. Like for instance, when I got people, call me an asshole online and stuff, but when I got into that fight with Alfred Blue, the running back, but the little details and the intricacies of the show they don't explain. That was like our 17th day in a row of doing one-on-ones. I mean, anyone that's felt the heat in Houston in summer, full practices, like I was over it, so I kind of snapped. So it is authentic, but people don't have the exact details of how it goes down or what the exact day it is. It's just kind of one episode blurred together, mixed together to make it look like one practice, but those are actually numerous practices that are mixed together and kind of combined into one to fit into an episode. I think the biggest thing was just at the end of it, like everyone was sick. They were sick of us. We were sick of them. The head coach wanted them out of there. It was a lot of added stress and probably the most stressful time of the year every year. Like
that was, for sure.
There was nothing like summer camp going into the NFL season. We kind of had like we were in like a quarterback controversy. Arian got hurt in the summer. It was
it was a Ryan Mallett thing, wasn't it? Like Mallett versus
Brian Hoyer deal, and we're like, I like those guys, man, but it was just like shit. We gotta really do even more this year to kind of carry the team. So, and there was just a bunch of drama involved with it, which obviously America wants to see on TV. So it was perfect, and they hyped up every little scenario they could. But the thing is, too, like when you're in the middle of that, like we see in the previous episode. So we know everything that's being said and what some coaches are saying, what players are saying and the drama and how it kind of is portrayed to the rest of the country. So the next time we go out there, we're obviously going to try, twice as hard to not look like that again. Mm-hmm. So it's a really weird dynamic of just kind of recorded live TV and some real personal times of the year where it's like camp is supposed to be coming together, bonding as a team, getting all the kinks out and moving forward. But at times it kind of hindered us and probably wasn't the most productive thing for our team as a whole.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I just remember just watching that episode, and that's what was like. Just O'Brien's, Coach O'Brien's, his personality just coming out on full display, man.
Absolutely.
Like I loved it.
No,
hey, Brian.
For the most part, it was like that show is very authentic because it's just at such a high pressure situation, where guys are just fighting to survive. So you're going to see their true colors. That's the biggest thing that comes out of that.
For sure.
Hey, Brian, I had two questions. First one. There was a play. I don't know if you remember this. You got a safety. I remember watching it in my living room. You got a safety on a quarterback with a body lock and an outside trip.
You like that, right?
Yeah, I love that.
It was Justin Fargas, Oakland Raiders, running back.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So did you have training before you started doing jiu-jitsu?
No, I mean, I wrestled like freshman year in high school. But as far as like judo or jiu-jitsu training, no, that was just more instinct, and I was struggling to get a guy down, so I just tripped him.
Okay.
He's a black belt in judo. Don't let him fool you guys.
No, I mean that's just years of combat sports and tackling people in some kind of awkward situations where whatever you got to do, you got to get them down. So you kind of figure it out as the years go on.
Okay, second question. Ryan used a picture of you to promote this, of you with a bloody face.
So he headbutted that dude.
Yeah. Did you feel the blood like immediately? Did you know that like you were open immediately as soon as that happened? Or
I did so because I was simultaneously talking shit at the same time, and I was spitting off my lips. So I knew that it was not sweat, and I could feel it. And one of the Browns came up to me and was like, "Hey, bro, you're leaking." And I just stared at him. Like I kind of embraced the moment and I kind of knew what I looked like. So I just, kind of stared at their whole sideline. And that's when the trainers came over, grabbed me. and there was like 2 minutes left in the half. So they had to grab me, get me real quick, stitch me up, and then right back out for the second half. But that was a blackout moment for sure. Blackout moment where there's actually a previous little beef me and that guy had. He went to Arizona State. I was a USC kid. So just the rivalry over the years.
It's hard in them streets.
Came back to life in the game.
Hey, so go ahead, Rick.
Oh, sorry. Okay, one more question. I'll shut up. I have a question between In-N-Out Burger and Whataburger. Since you are USC, Edwin, you can chime on this too. You're California. In-N-Out versus Whataburger. This is like a big debate here.
That people want to know. Edwin's already annoyed by that one.
I mean, I'm gonna be biased. I'm born and raised. I mean, it's in and out till I die. I'll fight you over that question.
Can I go with option C?
Oh,
Shake Shack, Five Guys.
Shake Shack.
I like that too.
Shake Shack, Five Guys though.
That's East Coast for me. So that's where that's the same thing. I'm biased. I do like In-N-Out better than Whataburger. I'm sorry, Ryan, but I've never understood the hype behind Whataburger.
Yeah, we took Marigali out to Nicholas Marigali. Like he's like never been to like any of these places. He was in town, and we took him out to Whataburger and got him a patty melt. He was like, "This Whataburger, they need to build one in Brazil." Like he was all about it, man. Marigali.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. So we took a picture, and he's like, "You can never post that, Mario. He's just super strict with his diet, so he's like, you can never post that picture, and it's just him eating a patty melt." I'm like, come on.
Sorry, Mario. Hope you're not watching this.
Yeah, he's definitely not probably watching that. But I want to get a cool question between you guys. So like Edwin, being at the Mamba Sports Academy, like Gabriel has his school there, and you guys work with, you're kind of being known as like the new Higan Machado, the new trainer to the stars. You know what I'm saying? Like. If you're a celebrity, they're coming to Tarzana, right? That's the word on the street.
Or Gabriel, I guess. I mean, we're just like relatable kids, that are just like young, and then like I don't know. I feel like most of the guys that are good at jiu-jitsu are like these older Brazilian, guys. Like how they like the older Brazilian. They're like really, they're kind of hard to relate to, Yeah. So I feel like we're pretty, we're pretty like. We're young kids, like we're easy to relate to. All these guys are our friends. We have a lot of football friends, basketball friends from Mamba and sports rehab. And most of them, you'd be surprised about how many of them train, but we can't even post about them because the NFL and NBA don't let you train jiu-jitsu.
100%.
But a lot of these guys are getting down, using it for their training. And it's cool, man. It's cool to have like a community center like that, to create bonds like that, friendships like that throughout different sports. I think it helps elevate jiu-jitsu as well. And then I think any pro athlete from other sports, they all love like fighters and jiu-jitsu guys for some reason. They just we just all get along. So it's cool, bro. It's fun. And yeah.
So what do you see when it comes to like, say, like Brian Cushing being, all pro middle linebacker, some of your other friends that are professional athletes, like if they really wanted to like commit, like Brian, I've been trying to get Brian to compete for like a year. And when he does, I think he's going to rip somebody's head off. But what if these guys like dedicate, like you see guys like Nicky Rod who aren't, even freak athletes like these guys put in a year in. What do you think? You think they can win ADCC?
Monsters. Yeah. Easy. I don't know about winning ADCC, but like, dude, they could win ADCC with a couple years of training for sure. They're like different levels of athlete. Like people don't realize that. Like there's levels to this game. I have a friend actually. He was in the XFL. He was actually a linebacker too on the Rams. Reggie Northup. He's a white belt and he trains at my gym and he just smashes like he's a really good college player. He smashes all the blue belts, white belts, and everyone's like, "Yo, who the hell is this guy? How do you know this guy? Is he random walking?" I'm like, "No, he's my boy. He plays football." So. These guys are different level of athletes. Like they train their bodies to play like 16 games a year, like hard as fuck. Like smashing their head into the wall. Like willing to do anything it takes to win. So I think mentally and physically, they're just on a whole different level. And I think that is something that jiu-jitsu athletes are missing. A lot of jiu-jitsu athletes are like not that advanced in strength and conditioning. like recovery methods. That's probably because there's not that much money in the sport. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of these kids are not educated as well. They just like used to just like sleeping on the mats, just training all day. But that's definitely something that's missing in jiu-jitsu. Not a lot of these guys are like don't really train like professional athletes. They don't live like professional athletes, and definitely, if some of these guys like came over with that professional help, they would advance in their sport very quickly.
Like I'm not gonna name names, but like Brian was over there for our Flow Grappling came into town to shoot some content.
Oh, I'm sure he tossed everybody around. Oh, easy, yeah.
Dude, I'm talking like I'm not naming names, but I watched the guy pass like multiple black belts guards, like with a white belt on.
Yeah,
like, it was jiu-jitsu debunked or something. Like strength doesn't matter. Bullshit. Like what are you saying?
Any high level athlete, well, also because you got to realize like playing football is basically like wrestling, pretty much. Like when I was in high school, all the football players would wrestle with us in the wrestling room, and they were all beasts, and they didn't really know any techniques. But you're pretty much wrestling when you're on the line every day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all those guys are good at takedowns. So
no, you're 100% right, and there's a ton of similarities, especially defensive players. Like our whole job is literally to get guys to the ground. That's our job.
It's
right?
wrestling.
At the end of the day, if everything breaks down, at the very least, you have to get someone to the ground. So, I mean, we've been doing it for years. Like you said, there's just a lot of similarities. Like, think about like my number one move on the field was a double leg takedown. That's
there
it.
you go. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, there's been a smooth transition, and there's a ton of techniques to still work on. But years of attacking and taking down is just obviously kind of kickstarted my whole jiu-jitsu experience a little bit faster.
100%, yeah.
Of just your strength conditioning, routine, mental training, all that kind of really just all helped with it.
Yeah, like I trained with Brian. Like the first time I trained with him was, I think you'd only been training a few months, and I was like, oh shit. And like I got speared across the mat. I'm talking like feet off the ground, like driven like 8 feet across the mats. And I'm like, all right, let's do this shit again. And so like any chance I get to train, I love training with him. I mean, he's the jumps he made from the first time to like the last time we got to train. It's scary now. Like he's not like the jerky spazzy. It's like smooth. He kind of so he's gonna be a problem, man. As soon as he's ready to compete, it's gonna be.
Also, high level athletes have like the ability to absorb technique like much easier as well. Like whereas like a normal person where has never done any sport, they're just like, oh yeah, let me do jiu-jitsu. It's like probably the hardest, like one of the hardest sports to absorb technique from. It's hard, but like when you use like. I know personally from all my friends that play football is really, really hard mentally, right? Absorbing all those plays, memorizing all that stuff. So if you can do all that, like you can learn a jiu-jitsu technique. So.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. Just the amount of time that we're asked to learn something and then put it onto the field is so short, and it's kind of one of those things where you train yourself to learn quickly, or you won't be playing. You'll be backup or out of the league. So as physically demanding as it is, it's also extremely mentally demanding, and that's a really good point you made about learning.
Especially your position as well, linebacker is basically the quarterback of the defense. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, all checks, audibles, and everything like that kind of fell on my shoulders. So
yeah. All right, Kush. Well, I got a question for you. So making the transition from player to coach, like you have been, what has been like the biggest difference that you've seen now between the new breed of NFL star coming up and the guys that came up in your generation?
Oof, that's a good question, man. These kids are different. They're definitely different, and I don't know if it's social media, and I don't mean to say kids like they're 10 or 5 years old, but there is a newer generation of athlete. And I really think it all comes down to the attention that kind of comes from social media. And what I mean by that is when I committed to college, I went to a local broadcast studio. I said my name. I said where I was going. And that was it. My high school knew where I was going. And the next day it was in the newspapers. Where now, it's broadcasted live, millions of viewers. Everyone's telling you how great you are. And it's kind of a sense of entitlement. I remember when I got to USC, I didn't say a word for the first month. Just wanted to kind of soak in everything, listen. I had Reggie Bush, Lendell White, Matt Leinart, guys like that, where I'm like, I'm not, if they want to speak to me, I'll talk to them, but I'm not going to them for anything. Where now, even by the time I was a senior, the freshman, and then now in the league, rookies coming in, they feel very comfortable, and that's not a good mindset to have in a very uncomfortable league.
Well, you can't really haze and like give them all the the razzle like you guys used to, right?
No, but the worst thing you can do is just not be liked right off the bat. I mean, there's nothing like a first impression in the NFL. All these guys, especially the veterans, want to know is, can you play and can you help us win? And we don't give a shit about anything else. That's it. Like, we really don't. Like, they don't care if they like you or not or whatever. Can you help us win? and can we get along with you? And that's it. And it's as simple as that. So, you know, when guys are coming in, rookies touching the radio or demanding a different song or arguing about the workout, it's just not a good start. But they don't, the whole mindset of just shutting up and learning has it's got to be retaught to them when they get here.
Man, that's crazy. So you were there, like those golden age USC teams. Like, were you on the team when they went against UT with Vince Young and all that stuff in the Rose Bowl?
I sure was. Thanks for the reminder. Yep.
Hey, I'm sorry, Brian. I don't have to see you for at least probably another month, so I can bring that up.
Not if I come get that mat from you.
Oh shit! Never mind. Never mind. We won't talk about that.
You know what's funny? Small world. Reggie Bush's kids actually come to my gym.
Do they really?
They're part of my kids program. Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea about that. I got to talk to Reggie about that because he's
yeah.
Crazy
bosses, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Brian's got to get all these beasts out on the mat, you know. Like when he invited us out to the UFC, you know, up in his suite and stuff, and all it was like these giant, massive football players. Like I'm just like, holy fuck! Like I didn't realize how big these guys really are until you get around them.
Yeah,
and it's just like I can't believe.
That's the thing you talk about too. Like if more of these guys start doing it, like I'm considered an ultra heavyweight, right? Because I'm 260 pounds.
Yeah.
But if a Chris Jones walks in at 330 and can move slightly slower than me, like we're in the same weight division, like there's an issue. There's an issue there. So I mean, there's some massive dudes out there that are unbelievable athletes that they would just be scary.
You know who surprised me? I know Arian's been kind of, you know, on and off with his training. You know, but Arian, man, he had a really smooth game. You know, like you would expect him kind of like as a running back, the way his game is on the field, it's kind of like how his jiu-jitsu game is.
Similar. No, Arian's a freak athlete, but he's a smart athlete too. Like you talk about someone that like transitions real well, learns really quickly, and he's kind of like hyper focused with whatever he's in. Like you've seen it. I don't know if you've ever been to like his concerts and stuff. But this dude will rehearse for like 2 weeks, come up with a song, and then go up there and sing for an hour and not have like one mistake the entire time. Like he's just a very smart, talented guy. It's just about the dedication of obviously jiu-jitsu is one of those things you got to do all the time. So,
for sure,
that's his biggest issue.
For sure. So I got a question for Edwin on this. So you have like a notoriously smooth style. Like you're like if I want to go back and watch like jiu-jitsu, like how it was like the smoothness, the silkiness, like where'd you get your style from? Is it pure Rômulo Barral, or I mean, are there other influencers to your game that have really helped you make it as smooth and as dynamic as it is?
I think the best advice I ever got was don't try to copy or speak like from everybody and just make your own game. Because I feel like a lot of kids these days, like they idolize athletes too much, and they really try to become like a robot, like you know, like a clone of their game, especially in jiu-jitsu. Like you see this all the time. So I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna do some crazy shit, but I'm gonna take some stuff from Rômulo, a lot of stuff from Braulio. I would say Braulio is probably my biggest influence on my game. I don't think he gets a lot of credit. He's probably, I think, the most technical person in jiu-jitsu.
I was insane. Yeah, he was insane. He came down and did like a seminar for us down here in Houston, and like just the way he taught and just how dynamic he was. Like he's so like his game is so innovative. It's like the stuff he was teaching.
Yeah, he's really good at teaching. I would say Braulio, yeah, I kind of just made my own game. My goal was always to like, because I saw some of these fights where some of these guys would win and like they weren't really good at jiu-jitsu. They were just like more explosive. Or like whatever, like you know, like you could just win a tournament. But I think people really appreciate like good technique, like beautiful jiu-jitsu. So that was my goal, you know, to never look like I'm like trying. Like I don't want to look like a tryhard. Like does that make sense? I want everything to flow, and also I don't want to just win. I want to win in like a spectacular fashion. So my goal is never just to win. Just always put on a show and make a statement. And
yeah, when you so you're our heavyweight champion, so maybe we can line you and Brian Cushing up for the heavyweight strap next 3CG. I'm just kidding.
I want to fight that heavyweight that I was talking smack on the post today, trying to call people out.
Oh man, did you see that guy, Kush? This guy Tyler King, I guess, used to be a NFL player. He's like, oh, the BJJ Savage, huh? I got something to say about that, and he like tagged you.
I'll fight him.
so we'll let Edwin take care of that guy.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that was good.
No, but yeah, man, it's been your style. Like when you fought Ben Eddie at the last 3CG, you had some spider guard transitions there, man, on the ground that that were just unreal.
Yeah, honestly, in the past like year and a half, it took me a while to get back my rhythm from my ACL injury. Like I didn't train for 4 months. People don't realize that. I didn't train at all. Zero training for 4 months. So like to get my rhythm and cardio back, it took a long time. Like honestly, I fought ADCC like in not good shape. I wasn't ready at all. I didn't even know how to fight ADCC.
I could tell you didn't look the same. You don't look the same at all.
Yeah, I didn't feel comfortable, but I'm slowly. Oh, the quarantine messed me up. But before the quarantine, I was feeling really good. Getting my flow back, jiu-jitsu is all about rhythm. It's like jump roping. Like you gotta get a rhythm. You can't just like explode. It's not about that. So you just find that rhythm, and it's every competitor knows what that feeling is. Find that rhythm, find that confidence. Once you get that swagger back, and then you start flowing, you're really dangerous. So I think I finally got that back. We'll see if I still have it after the quarantine. I think I will, but that's the biggest key. Finding that as a competitor, once you get that confidence and all that swagger and all that, which comes from hard work. A lot of people think that comes from talent. That comes from hard work and confidence from that hard work. You can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. A lot of times in my career, I've got like crazy rhythm, crazy swagger. Like I'm like feeling unstoppable, and then I'm like, all right, fuck, I'm gonna chill for like 2 months now, and then I try to come back, and I'm not in the same shape, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't move the same I was moving. So especially as a fighter, where you can fight a year long, once you get in that swagger and rhythm, you gotta just like punch it.
So like the Gianni Grippo fight, I knew you weren't 100% there yet. Like you came out there, you looked almost bored with him. And then you're just.
I suck. I was like kind of like hesitant. I'm like, and then like right now, I'm like, dude, if I fought this guy, I'd fucking just run, But it just again getting that rhythm and that swagger. Like Kainan has that right now, dude. The guy can't fucking lose. He just fights. He just finds ways to win because he's so confident and he's such in a rhythm. Marigali is. I would say he's like that, even though he's lost a couple of times. Gordon just fucking drilling on these kids, So it just as an athlete, especially like a combat athlete, you find that rhythm and you just gotta like keep staying active and riding that wave.
So when Gordon was in town, I think he had like a seminar. He got Olpiano open the doors up for us over at GB West Chase, and so I got to see Cush versus Gordon Ryan.
Nice.
That was. I'll let Cush go on that. What do you think about that? How was your Gordon Ryan experience, Cush?
Humbling experience. Humbling experience, man. That's man. Obviously you're like, all right, this is a great test to see how I match up against somebody like who's at that high caliber of level. Just so super technical. I mean, just everything you've watched, as far as like getting to the back, his grips, his guard, everything was just like effortless, like so smooth. Where I know I'm giving like 110% and I'm really not doing much. Like I think I passed his guard once and I'm pretty sure he let me to get to my back. Like it was one of those things like even if you think you're doing well, he's just setting you up to just, tap you out somehow or some kind of submission. So, I mean, obviously it was an unbelievable experience. It was an awesome time. And then being able to sit there and talk with him too was just wild. It definitely a very humbling experience, but I think everyone just had a great time with him coming through and just sharing everything he knew.
Because a lot of people, I mean, he gets a bad rap, and I've butted heads with him recently over the coronavirus stuff, but we're all good now. But man, the guy is the polar opposite of how he is online.
No,
yeah. I mean, Edwin,
that's
that.
All marketing, yeah. I mean, I met Gordon when he was a purple belt, dude, and this guy wouldn't leave me alone. I was a brown belt. I was like. One of the best brown belts in the world. I just won the purple belt absolute. I just got my brown belt, and I'm like about to win brown belt worlds. I won every tournament brown belt. And then there's this fucking purple belt at Henzo's. He keeps wanting to train with me. I'm like, bro, like, who the fuck is this kid? In the gi too.
Yeah.
Gi and no gi. Mostly gi. And then he would hit me up, bro. He's like, yo, let's train. You still here? Let's train at Ricardo's. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, this kid just wants to get me back, Like, I would say I was probably like a little better at that time, And it's just crazy how like I'm at a high level and he's like fucking the best no-gi grappler ever. Like from that, he was like basically like Gary Tonon's like little like brother, Like I didn't even know who he was. I was just like worried about Gary. And then this kid became like a star. So it's very impressive. Props to him. I know he put in the work because even back then, this kid was training all day, seeking out the best training, and you could tell that hard work always pays off.
Yeah, man, and that's something I was so you just mentioned the Gary Tonon thing. So with ADCC and the heel hook and all that stuff, I mean, what is I kind of had like a discussion going on against the guys that that compete gi and no gi year round, and about how you guys are basically in gi season for 6 months of the year, and you're not training heel hooks, you're not training heel hook defense, you're not doing no gi, and then you got the guys that are the specialists doing the no gi stuff year round. Like, how do you compare the two? Do you just say they're two completely different sports, and the guys that are crossing over are just at a different level, or is it just how do you ascertain like those type of things, like, oh, I'm the greatest gi player, or I'm the greatest no gi player, or like what?
I think it should be separate. I think it is two completely different sports. It's like playing ice hockey for 6 months and then playing like rollerblade hockey for 6 months. It's a completely different sport, completely different technique. And yeah, I mean, we're definitely at a disadvantage, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't think it's fun just to do one or the other. You definitely put yourself at a disadvantage. But I mean, jiu-jitsu's not that big. Like, no one's making like, like it's not that big. There's not that many events for you to justify one of them. I think Gordon and Craig are like exceptions. They only fight nogi, and that's cool. But look at the other nogi grapplers. They're basically nobodies, I would say. After them, like, there's Gary. There's a couple. There's like 5, but I don't know. But I feel like you gotta do both. Unless you're the fucking like absolute best nogi grappler, then you get credit. But if you're not, I feel like you have to do both. People respect you if you do both, and I think it's cool. But it's definitely two completely different communities. It's insane. So to be considered the GOAT, do you need to do both? Do you need to excel at the tops, like Rômulo, ADCC champ, multiple time black belt world champion? That puts him in a different league than saying somebody might be the greatest no-gi grappler of all time. Like, do you think that there's that rare few that have won at the highest levels of both, or is it the game was kind of different 10 years ago or whatever, and it's a lot harder to do now? I would just say there's two different GOATs. I would just say there's a no-gi GOAT and there's a gi GOAT. It wouldn't make sense to combine them.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people are always going to argue, like, oh, yeah, Gordon has 4 ADCCs, but Marcelo has 5 IBJJF world championships. Like, well, he doesn't fight gi. So there's always going to be that argument. So I think Gordon was smart where he's like, oh, I'm a no-gi GOAT. And everyone's like, okay. Like,
Yeah, and I guess it comes with like with sports in general. Like, Brian, you could probably speak more on that. Like, if you're a multi-sport, playing type of athlete, like you played multiple sports in high school, right, Brian?
Yep.
I watched your one of your highlight videos that they had out there from you. And I was like, man, this guy's been an animal since like birth. Like, it was insane. But to try to focus on two sports is kind of like I would say counterproductive, right? So I mean, you can do both, but if you really want to be the greatest at one thing, is it better to maybe just funnel all your focus on that one thing?
I think it worked. It depends on where in their life they're talking about, right? So I mean, I don't want to subject my kids to one sport growing up. I think that obviously being able to learn different things for different sports, learn different traits, learn different athletic abilities, be able to jump, run, cut, do whatever they have to do. I think it kind of is a pyramid deal where when you get towards the top, that's when you solely focus on one sport. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of pros and cons of both things, but for the most part, I think just from an athletic standpoint and just being able to learn and take different things for different sports, I think it's great to do multiple sports growing up. Obviously, till you get to a point, I think I played 2 sports all the way to college, and I would have loved to play 2 sports in college as well. I was actually promised to play 2 sports in college, and then as soon as I got there, was told that I was pretty much only playing 1. So that's just kind of how a lot of the programs work, though. Obviously, it kind of would have. I feel like it would have taken away at that point from one sport would have taken away from the other. Where my sole focus once I got to college was obviously making the league, so I had to train year round for that and kind of fully dedicate myself to that, just football.
Right on. Yeah, that makes sense, man. So I mean, what's next? What's next after all this? I mean, are we just going to get back to training and business as usual, or how do you guys see what's been going on with the coronavirus and basically the nationwide shutdown, like the effect on businesses? I mean, our daily lives day to day. How do you guys see things looking on the other side of this? I guess we can go around the table. Start with Ricky.
Man, I think there's going to be certain like laws or regulations put in place that are going to. I mean, you can decide whether these are good or bad, but they're definitely going to try to help people out if something like this was to happen, right? I mean, that's kind of how a lot of stuff goes, right? Like something bad happens, someone creates a rule so that thing doesn't happen, and then so on. Right. So I think that there are going to be new rules in place. I'm just kind of curious to see what they're going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. What you think, Edwin? I mean, everybody's saying like LA is basically gonna stay, locked down until May 15th.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's definitely. I mean, obviously the economy is gonna be affected. I hate to say it, but I think jiu-jitsu gyms and like wrestling and all those like contact sports are definitely gonna be affected the most. They're probably going to be the last ones to be lifted by like all the regulations. It's like literally like if it's the easiest way to get a corona or any kind of virus, or right, you're literally grappling and combining sweat with another human. So considering that, we're probably going to get I don't know, things are going to change. Maybe there's going to be smaller classes. Maybe there's going to be non-contact classes. I just saw the Gracie Barra group today. They said starting, like I think in a couple of weeks, depending on your state, you're gonna be able to have non-contact classes. So I don't know, like if like jiu-jitsu gyms are gonna buy 30 dummies for everybody. I don't know. It's definitely a unknown future, kind of scary. But I think it's gonna take a minute. Like it's gonna take a long. I think it's gonna take at least 6-7 months for people to see 50 people on the mat training. Whether the regulations allow you or not, I think people are just gonna be scared to go in a room with 50 other people and train jiu-jitsu with them and sweat, and you know how it is. Like it's dirty. Sure. Jiu-jitsu is a dirty sport. It's very dirty.
Yeah, and like with you, like I remember coming out to your gym like right when you were still finishing the bathrooms. Like you hadn't got your mural painted. I mean, you had just like basically the guy just ran into it, hit the fire hydrant again or whatever, and you were just getting it all done. So I mean, is the I guess Ricky, I won't ask Ricky this, but I mean, is like are your students being supportive? Or students like saying, hey.
I would say we had like maybe 30% freezes. Not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Not bad at all. But all of our students are going to get credited. So they're all going to get that money back. They can either choose like a $200 gift card per month that they were not frozen on, or
that's awesome.
We're going to have a free seminar with like, I don't know, some big name, and they can go to that for free. So or they can use a gift card for a private lesson. So we're going to credit all our students back. We're not going to charge them the full amount without them actually training. You got to give back to the community for supporting you. But yeah, man, first year business sucked. I had 2 floods in my gym and 1 coronavirus. Fucking brutal. I don't know what I did to God for fucking doing this to me, but
it's too much swag. You took all the swag. That's why. Took too much. Took all the swag. Nobody has any more. So
So it's all good. I don't know. Yeah, I guess life will be pretty easy after all this. So I'll definitely remember the first year of business for the rest of my life for sure.
So Kush, what's like the effect on the NFL? I mean, that's what I'm gonna write. If they say we're canceling the NFL season, I'm gonna fucking punch a wall. I'm gonna do something.
Well, as you guys have seen, there's still players testing positive, and it's just, the thing that's really tough for us is any city that an NFL team is in has to be completely fine. You can't have 31 cities okay, and then LA affected or New York affected with 2 teams, and they're shut down, so they can't play. But the other 30, that's what's really kind of going to be the hindering factor on this, is making sure all 32 cities are good to go, up and running, don't have an unfair advantage, or teams are 2 months behind on playbook install or practice alone. So it's just it's a weird kind of unprecedented situation we've never been before, and just hoping this kind of turns out all right. I think our biggest guidelines and things to follow are other countries to see how they're kind of lifting their restrictions and make sure that this thing doesn't freaking change or mutate or whatever. There's a lot of different things that are kind of contributing to this whole deal, and it's wild. But as far as the NFL, the training facilities have to be okay. Every player has to be healthy and not test positive for this. So, you talk about another contact sport with some dirty ass shoulder pads and helmets and just going up to a locker room. So obviously the whole sanitation and cleaning is going to be above and beyond what it already was. So it's just going to be wild. It's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the stuff that we're going to have to do to keep.
It's the right thing to do if they do eventually do it. But I mean, like when it comes, when do you think like the number when does mini camp or training camp start? Like,
it is a fully virtual off season now. I mean, because April 7th, any teams with a new first year head coach should have reported already. We'll start up April 27th. Because our coach has been there. So, and this is going to be all virtual install and being able to talk to players. But then it brings the whole strength conditioning aspect into it too. Mm-hmm. We have no idea what kind of equipment these guys have at home. So we're giving them a generalized workout, but we don't know if they have a squat rack, a barbell, dumbbells, whatever. So it's just, I mean, the one good thing is, and I try to tell the rest of the guys on the staff is every single team's going through this. Like, it's not just us. It's not a natural disaster in Texas that happened and we're shut off to the rest of the world. Like, all 30 teams kind of have to adapt and get through this as best as they can right now. And everyone's talking and communicating. Like, it's not like one of those deals, like, we're hiding information or whatnot. Like, everybody wants to play football in the fall, So everyone's coming together. Let's figure it out and let's, get the stadiums back full, get the fans in there and be able to play football.
I mean, what do you think a spectatorless NFL game would look like? How crazy that would be?
Yeah, it would be like a spring scrimmage for a college football game, pretty much.
That'd be insane.
Even less. It would just be very weird. And there's been a lot of different ideas and speculation thrown out there of things we can do, but like nobody wants to do that, man. They want to play in their stadium with their crowd and get back to normal. So whatever it takes.
For sure, man. So just a little bit of news on the Texans front. So with D-Hop leaving, I mean, is everybody's like, everybody's after Bill O'Brien. They're like, oh, Coach O'Brien, this and that. Is this more or less just him trying to bring his guys in and build the team the way he envisions it? Or is it or is it just conflicts of personalities?
No, I mean, I can't really speak upon that.
No.
About really what has gone on, behind closed doors or if there was any tension between the two of them. Right. I think the breakup was pretty mutual. If you listen to both guys, I think DeAndre thinks it was the best thing for his career, and I think that coach thinks it was the best thing for our team. So obviously, it's going to piss a lot of people off when you trade a player of that caliber and that freakishly athletic and gifted that can just change the game at any time.
He's amazing,
He's incredible, So obviously, a lot of guys were shocked, but the general manager, the coach, and the rest of the coaches make that decision. It's, time to move forward and let's figure out how to win.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have made some good signings, I think, so far in the offseason. I think, being able to pick up some picks for the draft as well will be good. So I think all around, I think it's going to be – I mean, Deshaun Watson, I think, could make – I mean, he can make just, the average receiver look like an all-star,
No doubt. He doesn't need much, man. But, obviously the more weapons, the better for him.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to see Will Fuller stay healthy all season, and then we're good. That's it. I mean, keep Will healthy. That's all we got to do.
They got a running back too, didn't they? They trade for somebody.
Yeah, we got
David Johnson
from the Cardinals.
Nice.
And you got Duke Johnson in the background. Is Duke still there? And then Duke and David. Yeah, that's going to be a nasty little backfield right there.
Yeah, they got pretty stacked, man. So we'll see. Like I said, hopefully we will all be able to witness it sooner than later.
Yeah. So I guess, Ricky, what do you think? I mean, on your side with the school, I mean, GB Texas is kind of like the flagship Gracie Barra school down here in the South. Like, what have you guys been seeing on your side? I mean, you guys have been basically hustled from zero online content to now you guys are running basically a fully online virtual academy in less than like 2 weeks. And like, what have you seen with like students and the support and stuff like that?
Man, the support's been amazing, like we've, of course, we've had people freeze for sure. And we're not trying to, like if someone's dealing with a hard financial situation, of course, right? Like we're very understanding with our students, but like surprisingly and thankfully, a lot of our students are continuing to support us too. And so, that's what's allowing us to be able to put out all the online content. Yeah, and we're doing just like every other Gracie Barra is, right? Like they all have Zoom classes, they all have their online stuff, and we're just putting it out there, man.
Yeah, man, you guys are doing a great job. I'm sure. I know I appreciate it, and everybody else does. So,
I would say Gracie Barra is killing it, honestly. Like I wasn't like, I'm not like, you guys know me, like I'm not really into like that whole like, you know, like
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
I like do my own thing. Like I never participate in any Gracie Barra groups or anything, but I've been paying more attention the past month, and like they're doing a great job. Like they have like a full fucking like briefing every week, like insane. Like how to teach your online class, how to retain, how to sell memberships. People are signing up for Gracie Barra schools during this time. It's insane. Like what?
They're still signing up during all this?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. In the Gracie Barra North America group, people are getting virtual membership signups every day, full price. And I'm just like, dude, like, you know. So I think Gracie Barra, like, people love to talk shit, like, oh, you guys are doing all this, but like, we're like, as like a team, we're like way ahead of the game. All these other people, like, they're running their teams as like amateur, like, club teams, and Gracie Barra is really like professional and killing it. So.
No, I agree. I'm proud to be on the team, man. Like, we're all for Gracie Barra, so of course we're a little biased, but yeah. I mean, I have to agree. I think that in terms of the online content and getting out in front of it, I don't think anybody could even touch Gracie Barra.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whenever you get people who are so driven, like Professor Drac, like Professor Lupiano, like you, Edwin, like you, Brian, like Rômulo, right? Like, it shows not only in the sport but in the business. And it's, definitely. You know, and that's kind of what I think is so cool is you're seeing that now. You see them like, all right, this challenge is coming up. Like, how are we going to get after it?
Definitely, yeah. No, they did an excellent job for sure.
Right? Some people kind of just fold, you know?
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely.
And like that's part of like being a proud American and stuff like that is the innovation that you see with the small businesses, like the restaurants, and you see like everybody getting real creative, like the gyms, they're doing the Zoom classes for their boot camps. You know, like I just like seeing the ingenuity that people are coming up with. Like we're coming up with something too. If we can't go big, we're thinking of doing spectatorless type stuff where we bring people in and, you know, kind of like a campsite, like, you know, where the fighters can be tipped during the match or like people can throw money down, you know. I'm not a campsite guy, but that's where like the idea came from. I'm like, you're paying all these like these chicks online to like do whatever you want. Like put two jiu-jitsu guys out there, no spectators, you know, take 15-20% off the match for ourselves and give the rest of the fighters and then go down the road. I mean, if that's what we got to do, I mean,
it's not a bad idea.
So, trademark, don't fucking steal my shit. but no, yeah, it's been great, man. I think everybody's ready to get back to training, and hopefully sooner than later, you know, we'll be able to do that. So, what have you been? Has Spencer been hitting you up, Edwin? Like, hey, man, let's go get some underground kumite lessons in. Like, how's he doing?
He's scared, bro. He's scared. He like, people don't know Spencer. He's like, he's like freaked out. He's a germaphobe. Like,
he's got the mask on. The baby's got the mask on.
He doesn't mess around. Yeah, he like he won't even like touch his face normally. Like he's a huge germaphobe, and his wife is too. So yeah, he's definitely not training. I hit him up. I was like, yo, if you really want to train, come to your house. We could train. And he's like, no, bro, I'm drinking tequila all day. I said, all right. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely two different types of people. People that are just gonna say, fuck it, I'm just going full dad bod right now, and other people are gonna say, I'm gonna work hard and come back stronger. So I think I'm a combination of both. But yeah.
I mean, you see the people that are stuck at home by themselves that are like, I'm so bored, and the people who are stuck at home with kids who are like, I am so busy.
Going crazy. Facts.
No, you misspelled it, going insane. Like the kid, like Kush, I know with your boys, they're wild and ready to go. Like, how are you keeping them wrangled and keeping them engaged?
Dude, we've gone. I mean, I looked at my Whoop tracker today. I've gone on like 50 bike rides in the last 30 days, and I'm honestly think I'm training harder right now than I ever have in my entire life, just because there's nothing else to do. Like, we'll walk down to the baseball field and it's just packed, you know? So it's like, if you're there at the right time, great. If not, it's just like, all right, let's go find another activity to do. But the one thing I do try to take from all this is like, man, I've been able to get so much more family time in during this that I will 100%. Never get back again at such a cool, like, young age that they're at right now, where it's just rare. Like, and I'm just trying to see the silver lining in all this to be able to just kind of spend more time with them and just be a dad, be a husband, and be around everyone, man. And just kind of, you know, like most of this moment.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I feel like I've sacrificed a lot too with the, you know, trying to do my business and stuff. My family always kind of gets pushed to the side a little bit. So now it's been showing my daughter Ninja Turtles, like the old school Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And, sitting around just having fun, man. I mean, stuff that I never did because I never slowed down. Like now it's like it's I think there's been a lot of good things that have come out of it. I've gotten refocused. Get to focus on the stuff that matters, and then coming out on the other side, 3CG I think is going to be it's going to be better than ever. So we're excited for that.
Yeah, we watched all 3 Terminators here, so I'm pretty proud of that too. 7 and 5 years old, man, and I might catch a lot of heat for that, but I don't care. You got to see it at some point in your life.
My dad took me to Terminator 2 when I was like 6 years old. I turned out fine, bro.
Turned out great.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. No, but so I was going to ask you a question, and a lot of people don't know this, and I might be wrong too. But JJ Watt's your brother-in-law, right?
That's correct.
So how does that go? Like, how does that go down? Like a family get-togethers and stuff like that. Do you ever say, "Hey, man, like, let's go get on the mats real quick, and let me show you some of this shit, and let's see what's going on"?
Let me tell you something. He's a great football player. He would never do that with me. I promise. Not taking anything away from his football, but he would never. And he'll tell you that. It's just not his thing. Like, but JJ's in a different part of his life right now. Like, it's going into year 10. He's got a lot of injuries. Like, he's preserving his body for when he really needs it. That
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I don't care anymore. It's just like I'm actually starting to feel good again after 2 years of not playing. And that's probably why it took me so long to kind of start training after football. Like, my first year after football was like, you remember like Christian Bale when he's Bruce Wayne and he's got pain and like the whole deal where he's got to get like completely repaired. Like, I was messed up, man. So I know what he's feeling right now, and there will be no grappling in our future. I promise.
I've always wanted to. I was always curious about that. If y'all ever, just had a couple of brewskis and just said, "Hey, let's see what's up." 2 giant men just going at it. No, but no, man, that's cool. So with JJ coming around to his 10th year, I mean, people say he's losing his step, he's doing this, but I think I'm optimistic, man. I hope he has the best year. I hope he has a great year this year. I hope he heals up, and I hope that he's able to kind of anchor the defense again and kind of get us back to where we need to be.
Yeah, no, he's working for it. There's no doubt he still wants to play. He still wants to be a Texan, and I mean, every player that's kind of gone through a rough patch in their career always believes they can get back to that pinnacle of where they were, no matter how old you are. I was guilty of that after I tore my ACL the second time. Like, and I'll just admit it right now, I was never the same guy again. But in my mind, I always thought eventually I'd get back there. So, whether you're just lying to yourself or it's just the competitive nature that you have in your mind, whether he gets back there or not, I hope he does. But it's a tough road. But I know he's not gonna turn away from it. He's gonna work just as hard to try to get there.
Yeah, man. And as a fan, I've been a diehard Texans fan since like they were picking the logos on ABC 13. So like to see, like I'm like it's been super cool, man, to like see what you did for the team, and then post after that. I mean, me and you have had some talks about this like outside of offline, but like you were one of the first guys to really come out about the CTE and the stuff the effects of football, and like Luke Kuechly came out, he had his issues. So like, do you see that becoming? I mean, what is the NFL really doing now different to really? Do you think they're doing enough, and do you think that you're going to see more guys retiring a lot earlier due to the wear and tear on their mind and their body?
I think people are more cognizant, obviously, just with the research that's out now, and I think it's not hidden anymore, and it's pretty evident like what football can do to you, in more ways than one. I think the NFL is doing a good job as far as preventative stuff with equipment, helmets, shoulder pads, certain devices you can wear around your neck, incorporating neck strength into your strength conditioning. Even the whole science and dealings now with concussions have completely changed from 5 years ago. So there's a lot more studies being done on actual cadaver brains where they're, 5 years ago they would tell you to go lay in a dark room for 2 days and don't do anything. And now I see guys in a training room and once they get a concussion, the first thing they're doing is they're on a bike, and they're kind of stimulating all their brain. They're getting up and moving again. They're not sitting around. So it's complete opposite. And I think that science is kind of going to be forever changing as far as, because we can't really diagnose CTE until a person is dead and you can study their brain.
like Junior Seau and like with the Aaron Hernandez thing that came out, that documentary recently. They said that he had some of the worst cases of CTE that they've ever seen.
Yeah. There's a lot of contributing factors to that though. You see a lot of these guys when they after their career just kind of go to shit. They're gambling, they're drinking all day, they don't work out anymore, they completely lose all routine. Where like even if they didn't play football or not, those kind of life changes would affect you. So you got to kind of stay on top of it. You got to be motivated every day to do something. Stay physically active, stay mentally sharp, and obviously try to prevent that as best as you can. Like for me, like whatever happened, the damage is done. Like nothing. Worrying about it is going to do nothing for me. Because there's nothing I can change. But the only thing I can change is just going forward and my mindset. Continue to stay up on a regimen, supplements, all that. As far as players retiring early, you might. Obviously, there's a lot more upfront money in second contracts now. There's a lot more. The guaranteed money is getting higher in contracts, and guys are really asking themselves, "Is it worth it?" Like, I'm happy with the physical state that I got out of when I retired. And I know a lot of these guys are retiring even younger. They got enough money for the rest of their life. They can walk, they can talk, and they can remember things. And that's more important than anything else. So it's kind of just the checks and balances you got to weigh, and see where you are. But then you got guys on the complete opposite end where it's like Jason Witten just signed a 1-year deal with Vegas.
I don't know what he was thinking, man. Like,
well, I mean, he just wants to play still, and I get it. Like, if I could physically still play, I would shut the laptop off right now and go walk the stadium. I promise you. Like, that's how much I'd love to play again. But it's one of those things. It's very hard to give up. It really is. Man.
But with Witten, I mean, his years with Dallas, I mean, he took a beating, man. And I mean, he's gonna. I mean, I don't know if you have like a personal relationship with him or not, but to see Jason Witten go from the Cowboys and play as long as he did under those guys, and then still go put out another season. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, physically, do you think he still can do it, or do you think this is more of a one last kind of hurrah thing?
I think the year off and TV, he hated so much that he would do anything but that. Like, he will literally go to Vegas and sign a 1-year deal with a team that like probably isn't going to be as good as the Cowboys next year. I don't know. It's not like he's signing with New England with Brady still there. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's chasing a ring or anything. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Raiders win the Super Bowl next year, but it seemed to me like he wants to play as long as he can, obviously. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't blame him. I really don't.
I have a question about that because Edwin, you could probably vouch to this. I've seen it with Professor Draculino. Just like as the athlete gets older, they adjust, right? And they don't do things as they did when they were younger, but they're still equally as productive, or maybe not equally, right? But still productive. Can you adjust to that in football too? Because it's not just 1 versus 1; it's a whole field of people sprinting.
Yes. There's no doubt you can. I've seen players that have gotten slower, that are not as strong anymore, but they dedicated so much time to the mental work and the film study that they were able to just move the same basically because they were able to predict things. And
that's awesome.
And know what play is coming. So they just got smarter as they got older, and they just got more attentive to the details of pre-play stuff and understanding formations and understanding different personnel that teams are in and what they like to run. So it's almost like they are on the same page as the offense, moving at the same speed as them, but they're slower than they were 10 years ago. So that's a really good question, and it happens a lot in football. For me, I think I know I watched more film as I got older. But if you asked me while I was still playing, I would have told you I was just as fast as I was in 2008, and it's not true. Because I couldn't admit that to myself. I was lying to myself, but I couldn't admit that to myself. And if I maybe slowed down and watched a little bit more film and didn't try to knock myself out in every play, I could still be playing. I don't know. But for me, it was like, I told myself from a very young age, like, especially when I got in the league, I'm going to play 100%. And if I can't, then I just can't play anymore because it's going to be the same to me.
Yeah, you were the heart and soul of our defense for years, man. And I think the best defenses we had, you anchored. So, man, that's that's big. We definitely miss you out there. I mean, so Edwin, I guess kind of a question like with jiu-jitsu guys. So say, you're getting up in age, you used to play a lot of spider guard, you used to do this and that. So you're seeing a lot of these masters guys, like what are the biggest changes they're making? Just playing more half guard basically, or
just being more technical. I think when you're younger, you just rely on a lot of athletic ability. I'm 27 and I do feel like a monster, but I still like, I'm not as fearless as I was when I was like 22. Like I really didn't give a shit, I would slap a flying triangle, fucking land on my neck. I don't give a damn, I get up. And now I'm like, oh fuck, like maybe I shouldn't do a flying triangle and get slammed on my neck. So
but you've been still doing them. I've been watching you get power bombed. Like, right.
I have.
Like, you've been jumping on these dudes.
But then you start thinking about it. But that's just like life experience. I think about it. I'm like, fuck, is it worth it this time? Where it's like, should I do it again? Where it's like when you're, and I'm sure it only gets worse when you get older. You just think about more shit. And when you're younger, you don't think. You just go. 100 miles an hour. Like I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. I don't care. I'll rip my body apart. But I think as you experience injuries and then just like. Yeah, injuries mostly. When you've got serious injuries, that makes you think about a lot of stuff, and your decisions. And yeah, I think you just start relying on, in every sport, you just start relying on more technique than athletic ability. But I think in jiu-jitsu, it's easier to retire, I would say, because you can fight masters. You still do jiu-jitsu every day. The problem with football or any other pro sport is that when you stop playing that sport, you probably you don't do that sport anymore, like you're not playing football in a Pee Wee league or whatever, or like in the smaller league, like you're not playing basketball. Yeah, you're not going to YMCA. You can't, you can't. So like you completely stop doing your sport. So it's completely different. It's really, really hard to stop.
Yeah. That's a really good point, because it just could just backtrack a little bit about, we talk about the players with football that have a lot of mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a small part of that just not being able to kind of fulfill their day anymore by not practicing their sport.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You do that enough in your life, and it's just one of those sports. It's like I'm not gonna put my helmet and shoulder pads and go in the backyard and hit a tree or something.
Yeah. You're not, yeah.
Liar. Good. No, it's one of those things. Like you look at other sports, and you can even ask Opiano, man. Like he saw me after the 1 year of not playing. And he was sending messages once in a while, like, yo, you good, man? Like, you want to start training? Everything all right? Like, stuff seems off.
Yeah.
It's a hard transition where, like, you got to find something else. And, like, this sport, being able to find jiu-jitsu has been that for me to kind of, still be able to physically train hard, but now dive into something where it does take a lot of technique. And, like, the strongest guy is not always going to win or the most athletic. So it's been an awesome experience for me, man, and really uplifted me from where I was. Like it's helped me in more ways than one for sure.
Yeah, that was my follow-up. That was going to be one of my questions is was jiu-jitsu something that was able to come in and fill that competitive void that you kind of lost when you left the league, and it kind of transitioned to the coach. So that's interesting, man. Yeah. Like to be able to kind of, for anybody, like for me, for instance, like that's all I did was jiu-jitsu, and now it's gone. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to deal with, and I never did it at any meaningful level. I just can't throw shows. But to be able to trade the NFL and then start training jiu-jitsu and still have that level of competitiveness and camaraderie and kind of things that you have, that's awesome, man. And I hope more NFL players see that.
I think it's one of the biggest part. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Edwin.
No, go ahead.
You talk about like the camaraderie, but you ask the NFL guys that retire, and you ask them the thing they miss the most, and I guarantee you 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 guys will say the locker room. Like that's what it is. Like practice sucks, camp sucks, games are awesome, but the most important thing is like the locker room, the flights, the games, the night before games in a hotel, like your teammates and stuff, the phone calls, the prank calls, all that. Like that's the stuff you can't emulate again when you're out of the sport.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine. So, I mean, like with you guys, like when it's go time, when you guys are traveling, you're on the road. So there is a lot of, like pranking and a lot of stuff that goes on. Give me your best prank. Give me something that sticks out that's probably number one on the Cush on the prank list. I got to hear this. I got to hear it. The people want to
know. Man, I'll send you some of these videos sometimes, but I was a notorious pranker because, you check into a hotel room, you get your room key. Well, it has a list of every single guy's room next to the room, and what room they're in. So all you have to do is hit extension in their room, which brings them right to their in their room. So I was able to 1 year coordinate a all rookie team photo in the lobby at midnight with no shirts on. All the guys walking down with no shirt on, getting ready for a rookie team photo at midnight.
You dick.
I would hate to be a rookie in NFL. I would hate it.
It's miserable.
I would hate it.
But the one thing I was telling them, I'm like, they'll hate me for a little, but I'm like, dude, you'll be able to do it to somebody next year. You're only a rookie once, so just.
It's like jiu-jitsu. I think Professor Drac calls it educational bullying. He's like that's what Drac called it when we did an interview with him, because like we give each other a hard time, me and Ricky and all of us. Like if we're getting a little heavy, like we'll call it like Thick Rick. Like we hold each other accountable. I mean, you got to talk shit to each other. You got to, I mean, educational bullying though. That's the new term.
No doubt.
Yeah. No doubt. I think a lot of people don't realize this about jiu-jitsu because they think it's like an individual sport, but they don't realize it's like it's more of a team sport than any other sport. It's really a team, even though you compete individually. But like the bond and the family, people think it's like cliche and we're just saying it all the time. But honestly, like the family and like the team you create when you train, that's huge. I consider I have probably like 10 guys, 15 guys that I consider like pretty much my family. Like my brothers. So that bond you create in jiu-jitsu is probably like pretty similar to the locker room, I would say, where you're comfortable with them, and that's huge when doing sports because it's not motivating just to go to the gym. I don't know, personally, I can't just go to whatever LA Fitness and just work out every day. Just see a couple guys, yo, what's up, bro? But it's cool. It's cool walking the gym. You get people to talk shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and like it's similar to like coming out of the military as well. Like a lot of my friends that I've gotten that have came out, certain disabled vets, they've lost a leg or they've done this or that. Like me as a veteran myself, I found what I was missing in the military, that camaraderie, that, the kind of locker room style, life that we guys lived as soldiers. We kind of I was able to find that again in jiu-jitsu, and it changed my life, man. So
awesome.
Hopefully, so hopefully more people continue to, because I think jiu-jitsu is going to take a step back after this. I think maybe a 20-30% loss in about where we're at, maybe with growth, because a lot of the white belts that would have joined, like maybe the 2-stripe white belts. I mean, do you think they're even going to come back, some of these guys? I mean, with like
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. If they started, they would. I think we're going to have the hardest. I think everyone that trains jiu-jitsu is going to come back. I would say it's going to be hard to get new students. People are going to be freaked out about that because it's already hard to get someone to do jiu-jitsu, especially if they've never done something like athletically like that before. And now they're especially going to get scared with the virus scare. So I think that's going to be the hardest part. But I think everyone that wants to train is like, everyone's already ready. They're like, all right, fuck it. We didn't want the quarantine. Everything's getting better.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go. I'm sure if you open the gym on Monday, 80% of your students would be there.
I would be there. I have to admit it.
So,
especially newer students too, because like they just got a taste of the cookie, right? They just got their hand in the cookie jar for a second, right?
Yeah.
And then so now they're like, I want this.
They bought like their 5 Gracie Barra, 3 gis. They paid their year in advance. They're fucking ready. Like,
ready to go. Honestly, I think everyone's gonna love jiu-jitsu more after this, to be honest, because they probably went a month without jiu-jitsu and they're like, dude, what the hell do I do all day? Like honestly, people are mentioning like, yo, professor, what do I do? Can we go for a run together? Like, what do I do? And I'm just like, I do the Zoom class once a day. I don't know. He's like, no, bro, it's not the same, And I'm just like, yeah, that's what people really have. Like now they're like, holy shit, like that was a big part of my life I'm missing. So 100%. I think a lot of people are gonna appreciate it more. I know I am.
And I think like event wise, people are like, oh, the bars are going to be slower, concerts this. But I'm telling you, I think the jiu-jitsu community, if we can go through with that June 13th date somehow, I think we're still going to sell it out. I think people are going to show out in numbers because they need to blow some steam off. They need some jiu-jitsu, and they're going to want to see a show. So if somehow we're able to do that.
Yeah, everyone's saying how like, bars are going to be slow, restaurants are going to be slow. Like, trust me, like I know like the people, especially around my age, that like grow up in this country, like, are you kidding me? Like when the bars open, like these people are going to be blocked out of the bar. I already know.
Alcohol poisoning for everybody.
Like, yeah. Like everyone's looking forward to doing whatever their favorite activity is right when they can. They're not going to take any precautions. Yeah. The only precaution is going to be that place being closed. So I know they're going to go all in.
Yeah, so I don't want to hold you guys up much longer. So we'll just do one quick question. Have y'all watched the Tiger King? I'm sure everybody's watched Tiger King at this point, right? Right. So Come on, Edwin. What the fuck, man? Like, why do you got to ruin my last question? No,
No, I was just like, dude, there's a fucking crazy chick that feeds her husband to the tiger, and there's a fucking gay guy, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to watch this shit.
Oh, dude. So I was gonna ask. That's okay. So Edwin, I'll ask you a different question. So Brian, did Carol kill her husband?
Yes.
Did she feed him to the tigers? You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Brian, I
I'm
got
pretty
a question.
Yeah.
Okay, if Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals, is he going to be called Joe Exotic?
I like that. I like
Sure.
that.
I don't know. We'll see how his career plays out.
Hey, Ricky, you better go trademark that shit.
As
Yeah.
That's good.
as of right now, Ed Ogeron's the Tiger King in my eyes. So that's about it.
Right on, right on. All right, guys.
He's a
Well, Edwin, so maybe June 13th, we'll see how the world looks, but maybe we get you and Dorino finally. We'll see what
Yes,
the world
sir.
looks like. And then,
I'm there.
all right, guys. Well, thank y'all for joining in. I appreciate it. And y'all all stay up, man. We'll check in again soon. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Later, Brian.
All right,
Later,
guys.
bro.
Yeah,
All right, boys.
Later, guys.